In 2017, Pope Francis established a new path to sainthood for Catholics who gave up their lives to save the lives of others. In his announcement, he said, "Worthy of special consideration and honor are those Christians who, following more than closely the footsteps and teachings of the Lord Jesus, have voluntarily and freely offered their life for others and persevered with this determination unto death." It seems an incredible thing to give up your life for others, but throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, we have multiple examples of Catholics who have done just that. They died heroically, and their lives are a source of inspiration for us today. Blessed Maria Magdolna Bodi died defending herself and others. She was a Hungarian factory worker known for her diligence and hard work ethic. She wanted to become a nun, but she was turned away from convents because she was technically illegitimate. In 1945, Soviet soldiers advanced into her town. The soldiers approached Maria Magdolna, who was standing with a group of women. She took scissors out of her pocket, stabbing one in the eye, and yelling for the other women to escape while she tried to fight them off. The other women did escape, but Maria Magdolna was shot and killed. She was beatified last year, though not under the new Giving Your Life for Others cause. I still think she was worthy of mention in this video. The man who may become the first person beatified through the new pathway is Venerable Franz de Castro Holzwarth. He was a Brazilian lawyer who volunteered with inmates in jail, providing them with aid and spiritual comfort. He was loved by the inmates, and his love and respect meant that he was called in to mediate when prisoners at a local jail took hostages and started a riot. Most of the hostages were released, and Franz ended up offering himself in place of the last hostage, though he knew the dangers. After the swap took place, the police shot and killed the rioters and Franz along with them. Today, there is a Brazilian Human Rights Award given yearly in his honor, and he was declared venerable in 2022. Another man who may be beatified under this new cause is Pedro Manuel Salado. He was a Spanish missionary who volunteered in a school in Ecuador. He was a quiet man who loved children. One day, he and some of his colleagues took a group of children on a trip to the beach, where a sudden current washed 7 children out to sea. Pedro Manuel risked his own life to swim out and rescue the children one by one, though onlookers warned him that he wouldn't be able to save them all. He refused to stop until he saved the last child. When all of the children were saved, he collapsed immediately and died of exhaustion. Vanderwoody was an American Catholic man who gave his life to save his own child. He was a pious man who was very involved in his church community. One day, when he was working on his farm, his son fell into a septic tank on the property. Knowing that his son was in danger of either drowning or passing out from poisonous gases, Tom jumped in the tank to save his son. He held his son up so that his head was near the opening until rescuers could arrive. His son was saved, but Tom died before he could be rescued. Many hope that he will one day become a saint. Many Catholic women, like Saint Gianna Beretta Molla, have given up their lives for their children too. Saint Gianna was a doctor and mother of 3 who developed a tumor in her uterus while pregnant with her 4th child. Doctors recommended that she have an abortion, but she refused. She was in pain, but she told the doctors that her child's life was more important than her own. Her baby, a daughter, would survive, but Gianna died a week after her baby's birth. She was canonized in 2004, and her baby grew up to become a doctor like her mother. Venerable Francis Xavier Troub gave up his life to save the lives of his parishioners. He was a zealous Vietnamese priest who established many new Catholic parishes in the country. Father Yip and his parishioners were captured by pro-communist forces in the aftermath of World War II and imprisoned in a barn. The captors planned to burn them all alive, but Father Yip offered his life to save the others. The captors accepted his offer. They beheaded him later that night and released the rest of the prisoners. Father Yip will be beatified later this year. The nuns of Nowogrodek also offered their lives to save their local parishioners. The nuns had been a source of comfort and inspiration for townspeople throughout both Nazi and Soviet occupation. They prayed to be sacrificed so that others may be spared from persecution, saying, "My God, if sacrifice of life is needed, accept it from us and spare those who have families. We are even praying for this intention." The sisters' prayers were answered when, on August 1, 1943, the Gestapo transported the 11 nuns out of town, executing them and burying them in a pit. They were all beatified 57 years later. Akash Bashir also gave up his life to save parishioners. He was a young man in Pakistan who volunteered to guard his church after escalating violence in the region. He was guarding the church on Laetari Sunday, 2015, when over 1,000 people were gathered in the church. After hearing an explosion in the distance, he noticed a suspicious man approaching the church. Realizing that the man was a bomber, Akash grabbed the man and held him close, saying, "If I have to die, I'll die, but I won't let you in." The bomb exploded and killed Akash and 2 other Christians, though the rest of the parishioners were saved. His beatification process began in 2022. These are just a few examples of Catholics who have given up their life to save others. Whether they gave up their lives for friends, family, or even strangers, their sacrifice really shows us the power of Christian love.